this team could go, and I think it's all coming alive right now.
I said, Dave, it was the first time I've watched the Texans in years, and maybe they're not in that 5 teams that can win the Super Bowl, but they're in the 10. Like sometimes, I remember Pete Carroll said this years ago, the better the player, I can't coach everything. You got to be able to do some stuff I can't coach. When I watched him last night, you can't. This is why Nick Saban couldn't do anything. He's off script.
Right. He might have been, before he got hurt last year, he arguably could have been the most exciting player in the NFL.
He was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the thing, you mentioned 2 points, that one, that he threw 20 passes. Let's keep that in mind. That's a good thing.
Yes.
If you can keep him doing that and not 50, I think that's going to make a big difference in his performance. The second thing, don't go too crazy on the Dolphins now, okay? Don't give
come
them
on, Coach.
Are you kidding me? The only thing good about the Dolphins is their coach calls good plays, Adam Gase, okay? I mean, they got 11 sacks on the whole season, okay? I mean, they're 29th in the league in sacks, so they don't sack the quarterback very often. They may have sacked the Bears, but that's not their forte. So it was a good win. It was a good win for Houston, but I'm not giving Miami very much credit. And I said that on our kickoff show last Sunday. You don't listen to anything.
I listen to it. You're just...
Jeez.
I do. I listen to you. Okay, so we were talking about this yesterday. John Elway, dad was a coach, went to Stanford, ran an arena team, was a great quarterback, good businessman. And he's struggling to find a quarterback. Okay, yep. He drafted Paxton. He drafted Brock. He offered to keep Brock. This finding a quarterback thing is hard. Do you think Gruden should give up Derek Carr?
No. Let me tell you, just with all the players, and maybe there's more to the story that we're not aware of from a financial standpoint, an ownership standpoint. Yeah. I don't know. But I would just say this, and I was at Dallas when we had 3 number 1s and 3 number 2s and as many draft picks as is about what you can have. And I went back and looked when this started happening with Jon Gruden, and he's a friend of mine. But I went back and looked at when he was at Tampa and when he was at Oakland, and you look at he had 10 total first-round picks. I think 4 of them worked out to the point where you would say, boy, that was a good pick for us. 40%. I don't know. Is that good? One of them was the kicker, Janikowski. Yeah. Okay? My point is this. Having picks is one scenario. Making the right picks is something else. And when you have a proven play, I gave up a first and second round pick for Ricky Williams when I was at the Dolphins, right?
So he running back Ricky Williams.
Running back Ricky Williams.
He was good for you, though.
He led, Coach, he led was MVP in the NFL. He led to 1,800 yards rushing.
So
was he good for me? Yes, I gave up. But I gave up the draft pick because I was not convinced. We needed a running back desperately. When it was Lamar Smith, and he had kind of finished his career with us, and we needed a back, and we were debating, are we going to take a chance and pick one in the first round, or can we get a proven guy? And, that's a debate. A lot of guys like the youthful guys, if you can pick them correctly, and that's easier said than done, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think Derek Carr, if you got a first-round pick, it would be hard to duplicate Derek Carr. I mean, you do college football. Here's his notable first-round picks for Jon Gruden. You do college football. You see all these college quarterbacks.
Yep.
Coach, there's one in the whole sport I like, Justin Herbert at Oregon. You can have the rest of them.
Yeah, and, at this point, it's he would probably be the top guy.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a gamble, and it's just not. This is what you get into when you take a quarterback in the first round. Everything that comes with him, from the standpoint, first round status, the money that comes with him, the agent, the fame. I mean, the surrounding. I mean, there's a lot more to it than the kid just going from college and going out and playing on a professional field. A lot more things he's got to deal with, particularly at the quarterback position. And some of these guys can't handle it. When you have a guy that can handle it and you see him doing it, you just better be careful.
By the way, you had many great years in Dallas. Your stories are hysterically funny. You're Jimmy Johnson's guy. You were always his defensive guy. If he was to coach again, you'd be his defensive guy, and you wouldn't do TV. Jerry Jones is an interesting figure. I've always said Jerry may meddle, but he is pretty patient with coaches. Mm-hmm. I mean, he gave Dave Campo 3 years. He gave Barry Switzer 4 in his nonsense. Mm-hmm. When you look at Jason Garrett, Dak going forward, do you feel like, let's start with Dak. Do you feel for Dak Prescott, this is a make or break year?
I don't. I look at the history. Look at the history we're talking about with coaches. But if Jerry likes you, he's gonna stick with you.
He liked Romo very early.
Troy was there. I mean, the history of the Dallas Cowboys when they had success, it has not been. Jimmy was talking last night on the pregame show. I think since I left, the Bears have had 18 starting the Dolphins have had 18 quarterbacks since I left with Jay Fiedler, okay? And they haven't won a playoff game since. The point that I'm making is that Jerry, it was Troy for 12 or 13 years,
yes.
Right? Romo for 10 years, as you just said.
Then there was the messy year where everybody got hurt.
Yeah, but the point is that I think Jerry if he likes you, he wants stability at the quarterback position. I believe that in his mind, Dak Prescott is his guy for the future, and that he's going to go with him, and he's going to try to do everything in his power that he can do to give him the best chance to be successful.
It's funny. People are being very critical of the Amari Cooper deal, and my takeaway is this. I have a weird theory on this. Belichick quit drafting receivers early. He quit.
Right.
Because he butchered it. The wide receiver position is a very difficult position. Guards, tackles, centers, linebackers. They're dudes. They're football players. Mm-hmm. Wide receiver's a little like an NBA dude. He's got a little personality, breaks the huddle first, kind of on his own. And if you go look at the last 4 or 5 years of wide receiver picks in the first round, Coach, they've been busts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think Amari Cooper is better and more tangible than what was available in the draft. And the Cowboys were like, listen, we got our pass rushers.
Yep.
I got my left tackle. I got my back, and I got my linebackers.
And I also think that this sends a message to his team. When you look at that, you look at that division. I mean, the Redskins are at the top of the division, and they're a good football team. Yeah. We agree on that. The Eagles, I think, still have probably the most talent, and they'll maybe get it together. We know where the Giants are. Jerry's looking and saying, you know what, we're one game out of first place.
And maybe one position.
Maybe one position. If we can do something, if I can do something, I mean, that's a motivating thing for the players on the team and the coaches. I mean, hey, you know what, this gives them a little spark. It might be the difference in them turning this season around.
Trent Dilfer said that. You want to drive to the practice every day saying can, not can't.
Yep,
and
absolutely. Absolutely.
And now they drive, hey, we can go over the top.
Yep, absolutely.
We can throw 30 times. Okay, listen, Baker Mayfield. Now, I didn't like his college nonsense. I hear that you think he's just having a great year.
Well, I would have taken him of all the quarterbacks. So let me tell you something.
Over Darnold.
And I want Sam Darnold to marry my daughter, okay? She's too old. They each have 3 kids. But if they were young, I mean, I love Sam Darnold. Don't get me wrong. I've spent some time with him, with Matt Leinart. I love him. I think he's going to be a great pro. But I looked at it this way before the draft. In my mind, I said, if you put the ball on the 20-yard line and you told me my job depends on it, take a quarterback and you got to get the ball in the end zone. Running it, throwing it, doing whatever you got to do, I would have taken Baker Mayfield.
5'11 and a half.
Yeah, I know. I heard the same stories with Drew Brees, same stories. I mean, that doesn't bother me. The guy can make the throws. He's a competitor. Cleveland, look where the guy's at. It's a mess. I watched one episode of that.
Hard Knocks.
And I said, I'll never watch that again. I mean, it was chaos in that staff meeting. Chaos. I'm serious.
Did you and Jimmy tell me a funny?
Tell
me a funny story.
And then the head coach comes out last week and says, "I'm going to get more involved in the offense." What kind of message does that send to your quarterback that what you're doing isn't good enough? You know what I mean? I mean, you might go into the offensive coordinator and say, "Hey, I'm going to be in meetings more. I want to do a little more of this, a little less of that." Right? I've done that, coach. I mean, you don't announce it to the media that I'm going to be more involved.
Yeah, Joy said that.
That's sending the wrong message to your team and that something's broken. That's what you're saying. You know what? Something's broken, what we're doing.
You know what that is, Colin?
What?
A lack of emotional discipline.
That's right, which I love.
Yeah, what? Did he blame it all on emotions? I don't know.
But you're right.
Well, it's an emotional reaction.
By the way, you and Jimmy Johnson, story time. Did you ever have... you think it was crazy because Jerry's crazy and Jimmy's, he's big, strong, and you're out there, the good-looking guy. It could have, and Aikman's a superstar, and Michael Irvin's crazy, but you didn't have a crazy week? What's the craziest?
Crazy week, crazy hour. No, you know what though? But I think
your first year you went 1-15, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, we won 1 in 15. Yeah, we beat the Redskins 10-9 or something out there. They had their 14th quarterback. God bless him. It was a guy that had won a Super Bowl for him, and I think they signed him, Williams.
So why didn't you guys go man overboard that year? You just kept grinding away?
No, you know what? We were most of the guys on that staff were on the same staff with Jimmy at the University of Miami. You know what I mean? So he kind of took it all. And he used to always believe in, and it was just kind of the same way with our personnel people. We brought the trainer with us.
Yeah.
We brought our PR guy with us.
Yeah.
So, we kind of had we had they used to call us the old Miami Mafia. We used to jog together. There were 6 or 8 of us every day at lunchtime.
You go jog.
We would head out and go for a jog, and we would talk the game plan all the way out and all the way back. I mean, we were that close is what I'm saying. And everybody kind of knew their pecking order. Nobody was on an ego trip. And we all knew that if we won, that there would be opportunities for everybody.
Yeah. And that Cleveland situation doesn't feel like your Dallas situation.
No. Oh, no. Not by any means. Not by any means.
It's a mess. Dave Wannstedt. Let's hear it for Uncle Dave. He doesn't give us... He has 37 current jobs in America. Miami radio, Chicago TV.
Okay.
Good Lord, you're busy. Dave Wannstedt. Let's take a break. Jason McIntyre. Monday's headlines today. We may go out to Dodger Stadium as well. It's The Herd.